On the program this morning, we'll be having the champ in the house talking about Kamaru Usman. Remember, this man is he's having the longest winning streak when it comes to the welterweight division in the UFC. He will be joining us on the program this morning. I will not be doing all the talking alone. There is a guy we haven't seen for a very, very long time. I'm talking about Tunde Kweki. He joins me now on the program. Tunde, it's good to have you join us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cecilia. It's been a while.
Okay, the last time I was with you was in Sports Night, right?
Yes.
How many years ago?
It's been a while. It's been
you
a
can't
while.
even remember.
Thank you.
Well, we're starting the show with Kamaru Usman. He will be joining us much later on the program. I mean, Kamaru Usman needs no introduction because of what he has achieved in the UFC division. I mean, he bursted into the stage and immediately he did that. He told us right here on this show that he was going to take over the UFC welterweight division. We're like, how are you going to do it? You've not even won a belt. But then this man, hit something else. Nigerian nightmare.
Yeah, I was actually quite, so a few years ago, 5 years ago, so I think I was actually, I had the opportunity of interviewing Kamaru Usman before he became a welterweight champion. And his tenacity, his fire, his self-belief was incredible. I mean, just speaking to him from, I'm 6,000 kilometers away, you could feel the palpable self-belief. And to be honest, seeing what he has achieved, it's not surprising at all. And the way he's gone about cleaning the welterweight division, it's just a matter of time before he becomes, he's officially crowned as the greatest welterweight ever. Already there's so much talk about him breaking the records set by the legendary George St. Pierre. There's even talk about him even facing the legendary George St. Pierre again. He might come out of retirement to face him. That's a matchup a lot of people want to see, because if you've been following these events on social media for quite a while, there are those hardcore UFC fans who believe that George St. Pierre is the greatest welterweight ever. Kamaru Usman is in that conversation as well. So it'll be a dream matchup for quite a lot of people to see. So for Kamaru Usman, what he's achieved is not a surprise for a lot of people.
It's not at all.
No, not at all.
Because, when he said that, when he said on this show, I think it was 2017 or thereabouts and everything, that, hey, he was going to do this, we were like, where is he getting all this confidence from? Where is he getting it from? How did he just, decide, break away from, usually when you're talking about Nigerians, you don't, UFC won't come to mind. Mixed martial arts would come to mind. I'm talking about before, before him. Yeah. So he started. We have Sodiq. That's another
super Sodiq Yusuf. Yeah,
Yusuf is another UFC fighter, and of course we have. The man
Israel Adesanya.
And all that. So it's like it's becoming more like a breeding ground for most Nigerians outside the country.
Let me be honest with you, Cecilia. Nigerians like to fight.
Yes.
And we know how to fight.
But just a drive, professional level.
Yeah, just a drive across any of the typical hotspots in Lagos. You can find some of the best actual hand-to-hand combat going on unpaid for. People standing by just watching, and it breaks. And it's just innate in us. And that's what people like Kamaru Usman, Israel Adesanya, Sodiq Yusuf, and other Nigerians in the UFC, and even in boxing, in boxing as well. We've seen the likes of the original Nigerian Nightmare Samuel Peter. You can see, of course, what Anthony Joshua is doing as well. It's inbred in us, and we're very strong, physically imposing, athletic people. It's not surprising that we're doing quite well in mixed martial arts and even in combat sports in general.
Do you think it's something we should embrace? Because we know Nigeria, of course, football is the king of all sports, and in Nigeria, after football, you have basketball. Before you can even talk about any combat sports. Maybe you can bring in wrestling because of the likes of Adekoya and all that, what they're doing and everything. You don't even talk about boxing anymore in Nigeria because of the level it's gone in.
Yes.
Should we go the way of mixed martial arts? Should we try as much as possible to make something out of that, knowing that once they get out of this country, they seem to excel? Israel Adesanya, New Zealand, of course, Kamaru Usman, USA, Sodiq, USA, and these guys have left the shores of the country, move over to another country, and they're just breaking ground.
What does that tell you from everything that you said?
Yeah, tells us how we should.
you just mentioned the fact that all these people excelled when they took their craft to foreign shores.
Yeah.
It's very simple. The fact is that we do not have the structure to be able to contain and elevate these people to a global standard. And that is very, very depressing. A country of 200 million people. I just mentioned that we are also extremely physical, very athletic as well. We are very good in quite a number of things as well. You would expect that this should be a no-brainer. But unfortunately, in a country that is facing so many domestic challenges as well, you find that the fact that sport is on the back burner.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, what people do not realize is that if you give young people an avenue to channel that energy into something competitive and lucrative, you might begin to address the issues of insecurity.
Okay, now Kamaru Usman is joining us now all the way from the US. Good morning, champ. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Thank you. I mean, it's the second time you're joining us on the show. I remember the very first time you joined us on this program, and you talked about the fact that you want to rule the world. You want to become the champ, and 13 games unbeaten right now, 13 fights, you haven't lost anyone. How does that make you feel, and what gave you that confidence to say that you are going to enter into the UFC and dominate everyone?
Feels great. I put a lot of work in, and that all translates from every situation and everything that I've been through in life. Because you know, experience is the greatest teacher, and with all the experience that I've gotten from every situation and everything that I've been through in life, it made me to who I am and as resilient as I am.
Yeah, I mean, we can see that. That's why everyone is calling. I mean, that's why you have the nickname Nigerian Nightmare, just beating all your opponents. Now, you talked about Masvidal immediately after your fight against Burns. I mean, when will this fight be coming up? Or how do you explain, I mean, this particular one, knowing that Masvidal was the one who started throwing the shades immediately after the defeat, when you defeated Burns?
You know, I fought Masvidal. Obviously, I fought him last July, and you know, that was a fight that I took that fight on 6 days. I believe they put that fight together. So having to fly across the world to Abu Dhabi in order to prepare for that fight, to, you know, it just, for lack of a better word, being a true Nigerian, the beat you are not correct. So at this time around, I think it's time that I give him the proper beating that he deserves in order for him to learn his lesson.
Interesting. I just can't wait for that to happen. Now, quickly, I have someone else in the house who's going to be asking some questions and all that. But then Gilbert Burns happens to be your sparring partner, more like your best friend. I've seen pictures of your kids and his kids playing together and everything. What was it like being, you know, at the same cage with this man and beating him up?
It was difficult initially, just when you're looking from the outside looking in. But one thing that we have to understand is there can only be one. There can only be one champion that rules the division. And, you know, it became even more personal because this is someone that I knew in the sport. I used to train with. Like you said, our kids spend time together. But to me, it was, you started looking at what I have, looking at my food and my plate and said, I want that. I want what he has. So at that point, we have to put the friendship on hold and we have to take care of business as men.
Interesting. I mean, when you got there, you were just a different animal. Now, Tunde Koike is in the house. He wants to ask you some couple of questions. He interviewed you about 5 years ago when he was at Complete Sports. Tunde, take it from here.
Hey, Kamaru, it's nice to see you again. It's been quite a while, actually. So congratulations on everything you've achieved in the welterweight division now. I just want to start by asking you, how do you make that switch from being Samira's dad and, also son and gentleman in the Usman household? How do you make that switch from being that tender, loving father into that animal, that beast in the cage, that Nigerian nightmare?
It's a lot of practice. Practice makes perfect. I learned a long time ago, when I came here, I started with wrestling. And even with wrestling, I had a lot of practice, a lot of competitions to where I started to practice my craft. I started to be able to learn when to turn it on and turn it off. And now with MMA, it's more difficult because this is fighting. This is something that we all humans do. So fighting is a language that all humans speak. And so it's difficult to be able to just turn it off. But with the appropriate practice, you guys see, I walk into that arena as Kamaru Usman, but by the time I walk into that cage, I turn into the Nigerian Nightmare. And I have to be able to turn it off when I walk out.
Interesting. I'm still talking about family as well. I'm still quite aware of, the small tragedy you suffered back in the day with the incarceration of your father and everything that you've achieved. How key is family for you?
Family is big for me. I mean, I'm Nigerian. Which Nigeria no they close to his family. That's something that I resonate with very, very, very much, because that's just how we were bred. As Africans, it's very common for 3 generations to be in the same household, and that's just kind of, I'm close to my family in that sense. So when that tragedy happened to my father, it was devastating. It was a devastating blow for us. But my dad still stayed a focal point in our family and guiding us in whatever decision needed to be made. And I'm just excited that I was able to make him proud while he was away there. He still felt that connection to me because he could watch me on TV excelling in the sport.
Still talking about your family, you have a very interesting family. One of your brothers is a medical doctor, and your younger brother, Mohammed, is, while you are a problem, he's a big problem. 31 years old, 250 pounds, a stunning heavyweight. And how long does it take before we see him in the UFC? I mean, going up against the likes of Curtis Blades and all the big heavyweights.
Yeah, right now he's signed to PFL, which is the Professional Fighters League, which is a different league similar to the UFC. So he's enrolled in their heavyweight tournament right now, which the winner of that wins $1 million US. So he's doing some big things himself, and after that tournament is finished, then he can make that decision on whether he wants to come over to the UFC or stay and win another $1 million tournament.
Okay, final question for me. I just want to know, you've done incredibly well in the welterweight division. You've cleaned it out. There are no more challengers. There is talk that you might move up into the middleweight category where your good friend Israel Adesanya is champion. Is that something we might see, or you gentlemen are going to talk it out and rather remain 2 Nigerians with 2 belts, or we see 1 Nigerian with 2 belts?
Yeah, I mean, I've been being asked that question a lot, and and I've said it time and time again. Moving up while Israel Adesanya is there, that's not something that I'm interested in. It's just not. Israel is that's my Nigerian brother, and I'm one of those who I'm extremely prideful for what I've sparked and what we've accomplished in such a short time. And yes, I would not want to do that. 2 Nigerians with belts is more important than 1 Nigerian with 2 belts. That's something that means that's very, very dear to me, the fact that both of us are doing it. It's never been done ever in history. And so I'm very, very honored and proud to be one of those 2 Nigerians. And to touch on what the subject, kind of what you guys were talking about earlier, growing up, I never had a Nigerian UFC champion role model to look at and say, oh, look, these guys did it. Maybe I can do it. We didn't, and to push that further, we didn't leave Nigeria to better ourselves in the sport. We didn't know about the sport because we had no role models. We had no one to show us that we were in Nigeria, we could do it. We found the sport when we left the country. And so, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. It's very, very important that myself and Israel are paving the way for these children all across the nation of Nigeria, so they know that one day I can be like Israel and Kamaru Usman.
Okay, all right. Talking about, you just mentioned that you did not discover the sport until you traveled to the US. Israel Adesanya, we've seen most of these stars talking about how they started. What are the plans for you guys to come together and actually bring this sport to the country? Because, I mean, Tunde Koike mentioned how athletic Nigerians are. I mean, we've seen you, the kind of fight you have in you and all that. What are the plans to actually, bring it down here so that, the kids right here can actually have that dream right from home, even before they move out from the country?
Yes, there are plans. We're still, right now, we're still in the phases of building ourselves. I know to everyone else, they feel that, oh, you guys have made it. You guys are champions. You guys are there. There's still a lot of room to go. There's still a lot of things that we need to put in place to really solidify ourselves to where we can go out, branch out, and start whatever we would like to start. And currently, right now, my representative Crystal, from all through Nigeria, and KY management, and those guys are doing a fantastic job of trying to put certain things in place for us to be able to do that in Nigeria. And so we're currently in talks with the African Knockout show, and so we're currently in talks to potentially collaborate and do something together, because we want to make sure that the country doesn't only just watch us on TV doing this, that they know that we are trying to break ground and really bring that sport to the country.
Mm. Well, it's really heartwarming to hear that you and your other UFC stars have plans to bring your talents and your expertise to Nigeria. And talking about knockouts, it's interesting to note that your last 3 fights, 2 of them actually ended in knockout. Against Colby Covington, finished him superbly. Also against Gilbert Burns, finished him as well. But you are actually more known as an extremely brilliant wrestler. But your striking these past few fights has been nothing short of world class. Are we seeing like an elevation of your class? Can you get better? Are you evolving? Can we see you even move into more jiu-jitsu? We don't really see you grapple, but your striking is phenomenal. Is there a possibility that you can get better?
Absolutely. That's what I plan to do. That's what I aim to do. Each and every time I step in there, I want to be, it's me versus myself. I want to be better than my former self. And so I'm always constantly working. I'm constantly trying to elevate my game. And I have it all. And that's why I'm the champion. I'm the best in the world. I can do it all. I can wrestle. I can grapple. My striking is excellent. I can do it all. It's just that what sets me apart from everybody is my mind. I'm extremely tactical, and I'm calculated, and I'm smart. So I use the tools that are necessary to make sure that the job is done properly.
I want to thank you so much, Kamaru Usman, for waking up so early, all the way from Florida, to join us this morning on the program. We hope to see you in Nigeria soon, very soon, so that, you guys will be able to develop the sport right here at home. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.